After I became the supreme creator, I once personally bestowed 3 treasures of civilization upon a young insect ape. Who would have thought that this feeble insect ape would go on to establish a brilliant civilization? This once extremely insignificant creature has now completely transformed, becoming a great hero in the hearts of the people. He's admired by tens of thousands. However, what surprised me even more was that this legendary king, even in the twilight of his life, mustered the strength of the entire nation to construct a memorial in front of the Temple of Wisdom and begged me to grant him 3 treasures of eternal protection. After my refusal, the entire army that had been lying in ambush inside Uruk's royal city swarmed out. This heroic king even raised his weapon at me, with the intent to kill me, to claim the joy of immortality. Seeing this, I couldn't help but shake my head. At the same time, I was rather curious. Gilgamesh, who had integrated termite genes, I wondered just how transcendent the power he had gained really was. By what means did he dare to provoke me? Countless archers on horseback swarmed the ground, this being Suvir's finest army. Yet to me, they were nothing more than a swarm of ants. Their arrows, though sharp, were fired by forces too weak. Swords and long lances merely stuck to my thick jeans, without even touching my skin. Not even the most elite troops could pierce his defenses. Gilgamesh was momentarily taken aback, but he quickly regained his composure. I should have seen it coming. My elite army that had conquered forests and countless giants was utterly ineffective against the wisdom beast. No sooner had I spoken than I saw Gilgamesh make a fierce leap. In the blink of an eye, he darted to a spot right before my knee. I couldn't help but be slightly moved. Such speed, it nearly rivaled that of a flea. For an ant to unleash a jump as terrifying as a flea's is truly remarkable, truly extraordinary. In my astonishment, I waved my hand, only to be unexpectedly outmaneuvered by this elderly, sword-wielding heroic king. Gilgamesh maintained his rapid movements, nimbly bouncing to the left and right. He climbed up along my jeans, his expression turning gravely serious. This is the wisdom beast, after all. Just the mere motion of its gestures stirred up powerful gusts, nearly blowing me away. His Majesty Isfanor has come to aid me. At that moment, the second son of the first grassland king made a light leap, astonishingly jumping as high as 7 or 8 meters, landing on my pant leg. I reached out and called Ishtar, faced with hands as vast as mountain ranges. This grassland king, nimble as ever and battle-hardened from years of clashing with giants, displayed exceptionally refined combat skills, and his performance now truly lives up to his great title as Grassland King. You two are quite impressive, I said, but the test ends here. With that, I suddenly extended my hand, smacking Ishtar with lightning speed. Your speed is indeed impressive, but still too slow for me. Ishtar's face changed dramatically. He didn't even have time to react, as if he were a dark blur struck by a palm. In an instant, he was flung away. The next second, I swiftly delivered another strike with the force of a mountain wind, this time aimed at Gilgamesh. Damn it, Gilgamesh looked utterly astonished. He could only muster a split-second reaction, an awe-inspiring strike that left everyone in shock. My palm collided forcefully with him, sending Gilgamesh flying backward. He was quickly airborne, and with just one move, I had bested him. In the end, I could only manage to scratch his skin. Gilgamesh, falling to the ground, gave a bitter laugh. Juanki spat out a mouthful of fresh blood. I looked at this noble man with deep emotion. Though he had already lost, from beginning to end, he never showed fear, even though he knew the gap in strength was like a clear sky. Gilgamesh, a complex and powerful man, possessed immense personal charm. I truly respect the barbarian's great hatred. Now, the hero's tomb fills me with pity and regret, but his mission comes to an end, and indeed I followed through. At this moment, Ishtar also hauled up mouthfuls of blood. His chest heaved violently. Looking up at the giant in the sky, there was no fear in his eyes either. From the start, he was prepared to die. An Almer warrior never fears death. He only gave a bitter smile. So the difference was that great. What exactly are we waging war for? Do you regret it now? I sighed softly. My whole body was shrouded in golden light. My figure vast, locked into the clouds, like a giant piercing through ancient times, mysterious and majestic. Regret? No, it's just a choice. Gilgamesh spat out a mouthful of blood, saying nothing more. At this moment, the Sumerian civilization declared defeat, completely overwhelmed before the wise giant beast, challenging such vast power, only to fail. They knew what this meant. Scorn disaster would arrive. I turned my head toward the fleeing army. Madness spread everywhere. Destruction of the royal family, collapse of the throne. These members continuously wailed these words. They were terrified, laughing madly in despair. Clearly, they were on the brink of madness. I had never thought about controlling the fate of so many, controlling the rise and fall of civilization. I looked down on this aging hero king and spoke calmly. Are we heading for destruction? Gilgamesh suddenly spat out another mouthful of fresh blood, then asked the giant in the sky, just as we have destroyed countless giant beast tribes, will you destroy me to avenge them? quietly watching this hero king. His civilization was about to be wiped out, yet at this moment, he still showed no fear. I thought for a moment and answered, "Since you won't listen to advice, I will destroy you. After all, you have destroyed the world's ecosystem, wiped out too many species. I cannot allow you to continue to reproduce endlessly." Gilgamesh gave a knowing smile. Suddenly he asked, "Back then, you told me what civilization is. Now, could you answer a few last questions?" Our king actually wants the wise giant beast to answer his own questions. At this moment, everyone around was astonished. They all looked up at this towering giant. The air suddenly went silent for a few seconds. The giant beast was silent too. Suddenly, an extremely deep voice pierced through the vastness and silence, falling down upon the shattered Uruk royal grounds below. "Say your questions." In an instant, the world fell into dead silence. The blood-soaked earth instantly quieted. Countless fleeing soldiers stopped in their tracks and turned back, gazing up at the giant in the sky. "What method will you use? To destroy me?" Gilgamesh asked the first question after the silence. "I will think carefully and answer." I calmly added, "I will use a great deluge to wash away and flood the entire facade, destroying the traces you once left behind." In an instant, the earth fell silent. Everyone fell into a chilling silence. The ground was so filthy, dirty with nothing but sinners. So the wise beast will use a massive flood to cleanse this land of sinful people. But how could the wise beast, even behind walls, possibly unleash a flood covering the entire world? This is no longer the power of a beast. It is clearly the breath of many beginning to stir. Faces gradually grew calm as they couldn't find the words to describe this legendary wise beast. The second question. This world is round above and square below. Why have your footprints never been seen? Gilgamesh's voice was hoarse and ordinary. Where exactly do you come from? What kind of existence is this wise beast? Why did you give us the fire of civilization? Why did you not stop us from slaughtering other seeds? You say all life is equal, including intelligent beings and plants alike. Then what exactly does this land mean to you? I gently lowered my head, looking at the stranger who was a hero king before me. A giant looked down over the entire city of Uruk. A vast voice then entered the land. "This land is my creation. The world and all of you are my children. Barbaric species, wise ones, plants, all species, to me are my people. And you are all equally my children." At that moment, it seemed as if a death-like silence had fallen. The people on the ground all breathed rapidly. This breathing gradually grew louder, then intensified, becoming a rising chorus of gasps and sighs. Gilgamesh was instantly stunned into silence. His face was full of disbelief, filled with incredulity. Then he suddenly laughed. That smile grew bigger and bigger, and finally turned into a wild, arrogant grin. "Interesting, truly interesting. What exactly are we fighting against?" It turns out the legendary wise beast is not the giant we thought it was. He is not a true giant. He is the almighty creator of all things, the maker of the world. Such a being should be called. On this land, tribal people have never encountered a god. But now, arrogantly, I named the book recording the history of civilization's creation, Genesis. I thought I created the civilized world, but in fact, the true creator was the wise beast. All life is his children. What majestic power that is. How could I forget? Gilgamesh's voice suddenly stopped. Then his laughter erupted to the sky. His laughter grew louder and wilder, while I remained indifferent inside. A giant towering thousands of feet high stood at the edge of the royal city, quietly watching this laughing, dying hero king. I'm normally very patient, so I naturally tolerated his outburst and last moments of defiance. The last question. How many years did you take to create our world? Gilgamesh asked solemnly. This question truly made me reflect. At that time, to transform the orchard, creating beaches, I dug the soil, fashioned mountains and rivers, now restoring this original square earth. I spent a full week completing the transformation. So I chose to truthfully answer the third question. I took a full 7 days to create this land. 7 days for God to create all things. Not just 7 days. Gilgamesh was shocked. He laughed heartily, laughed until tears appeared, laughed hysterically. For a moment, it seemed as if he heard something inside his heart breaking. That was the sound of heartbreak. His pride and arrogance were shattered before his death. The greatest suffering is a broken heart. For 7 days, in roaring laughter, he blurred his own consciousness. The 3 questions before him made him momentarily dazed, as if recalling standing on the grand pleasure of his childhood, and asking the first question to this giant. What is civilization? Civilization is the spark of fire. It is knowledge and also order. Civilization is also the strongest tool of wisdom to protect itself. Gilgamesh's laughter grew louder. His voice crossed the breeze and hills, crossed rivers and forests. On this land, all the creatures looked up in a daze. They looked at the sky with complexity, as if they heard the delayed wrath of this Sumerian king. Countless people wept and wailed, singing unknown Sumerian laments, folk songs, and dirges for the fallen great king. That day, on the outskirts of Uruk, a great epic, hero king Gilgamesh thus approached the ultimate end of life, becoming dust in history. I sighed as I watched this hero king depart. I had never truly thought to all the questions you wanted to ask. I truthfully answered each one, but I really have no way to grant you immortality. I myself am on the brink of death. Yet you, the king and the ancient king, have died. Our king, the strongest hero, King Gilgamesh. He bowed to the creator. He died, and we suffered countless defeats. People mourned loudly. They fled madly. I silently looked down on all. Where else could these remnants possibly escape? To the edge of the world? Unbelievable. Truly unbelievable. Making Akkad stand on the high walls of Uruk's kingdom, watching their great hero king collapse. Knowing the terrifying truth, he went to the Han people. Before I die, I must record everything. I want to leave the truth about the world for future generations. The official trembled all over. Sweat instantly soaked his arms. He had just recorded the text about Gilgamesh challenging the wise beast. Then, trembling, he turned the page of the book, quickly recording a new chapter from the annals of the Sumerian kingdom. The wise beast is truly the creator. Gilgamesh, in old age, arrogant and reckless, tried to challenge the ancestors to obtain immortality through divine blood, ultimately angering the heavenly gods. The gods saw that humans were the greatest evil on earth, determined to destroy Sumerian civilization, sent down a devastating flood to annihilate all life. The sky trembled. The earth wailed. In the tense atmosphere of the royal city, people were anxious and uneasy. They trembled in fear, boiling with emotion, full of turmoil. Repent, the gods will fall upon our arms, crushing our spines. The great flood will destroy our world, ruin our civilization. And at this moment, a young blonde man carrying a package came to our feet. He opened the package, revealed the head inside, and shouted loudly, "Great Wisdom Society, Forest King Enzider Praise."